From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang in review. Malacañang has issued Memorandum Circular or MC34 directing national government agencies and encouraging local government units or LGUs to support activities and programs for senior citizens during the annual celebration of the Linggo ng Katandaang Filipino, or in English, Elderly Filipino Week. Under MC34, inked on September 29th by Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin by authority of the President, the National Commission of Senior Citizens, or NCSC, is designated to spearhead the conduct of activities and programs during the annual celebration of the Elderly Filipino Week. Under its mandate, under Republic Act or RA 11350 or the National Commission of Senior Citizen Act, the NCSC is directed to ensure the full implementation of laws, policies, and programs of the government pertaining to senior citizens. The funding requirements for the implementation of MC34 will be taken from the current and available appropriations of concerned agencies, subject to pertinent budgeting, accounting, and auditing laws, rules, and regulations. By virtue of Proclamation No. 470, issued in 1994, the first week of October of every year is declared as Linggo ng Katandaang Filipino to highlight the significant role of the elderly sector in nation building and in promoting their rights and welfare. Section 2 of RA 11350 declares it a policy of the state to adopt measures that will advance the health and well-being of senior citizens, provide services, programs, and activities that are beneficial to them, and ensure a supportive and enabling environment for the elderly. NCSC Chairperson Franklin Quijano said, "The Philippine Plan of Action for the Senior Citizens and the Guidelines for Philippine Age-Friendly Local Governments, Age-Friendly Cities, Municipalities, and Communities would be launched to develop a homegrown, age-friendly approach benefiting the senior citizens." Over 2.8 million senior citizens have registered at the NCSC's online registration system. The NCSC is eyeing the registration of around 9 million senior citizens by December this year.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday distributed around 1,000 sacks of premium quality rice to beneficiaries of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD's Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, or 4Ps, in Taguig City. These sacks of rice are still part of the 42,180 smuggled sacks worth 42 million pesos forfeited by the Bureau of Customs, Port of Zamboanga, during its warehouse raid in the village of San Jose, Gusu, Zamboanga City last September 15th. The confiscated sacks are turned over to the DSWD for distribution. In his speech, the President said, he assured that his administration will relentlessly run after hoarders, smugglers, and price manipulators to ensure a stable and affordable supply of the staple food in the market. The chief executive insisted that there is no shortage in the supply of rice as the current rice buffer stock is more than 30 days, and after the milling season, buffer stock could reach more than 70 days. President Marcos also warned those sabotaging the economy by disrupting rice supply in the country and told them to stop hoarding and smuggling the staple food. Under Republic Act or RA 10845, or an act that declares large-scale agricultural smuggling as economic sabotage, the President added that those who committed this crime may face life imprisonment and fined double the amount of what they have smuggled, including taxes. The President also noted RA number 7581, or the Price Act, and warned those hoarding basic necessities and prime commodities that they will face the corresponding punishment. President Marcos announced that the government has caught those who violated the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act, Rice Tariffication Law, and the Anti-Agriculture Smuggling Act of 2016. The Philippine President disclosed that the San Pedro Warehouse, Blue Sakura Aggregate Corporation, FS Ostia Rice Mill, and the Gold Rush Rice Mill are currently facing charges before the Department of Justice or DOJ.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippines and Lithuania agreed on Tuesday to collaborate on areas of technology, cybersecurity, education, and people-to-people exchanges to address various challenges. During the presentation of credentials of Lithuanian non-resident ambassador to the Philippines, His Excellency Ricardas Slepavičius, to President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. in Malacañang, the Lithuanian envoy said that despite the distance between the two nations, he believes that there are some technological solutions they could offer, such as cyber securities, economy, green energy, and biotechnology. And with Lithuania being a pioneer in laser development and production, Slepavičius said, the Philippines and his country can work together on laser technology. Lithuania, he said, captures the 10% of global market for scientific lasers, and the two nations' businesses, universities, and scientific institutions could partner for the production and development of good quality lasers. Agreeing with Slepavičius, President Marcos is convinced that the solutions to what the country is facing would come from technology. The President said he thinks technology will bring the solution, as he expressed interest in the production of scientific lasers and lasers in general. The two nations could also improve their relationship through sports, Slepavičius said, who suggested organizing special basketball projects.
Dateline Malacañang.
Governments of the Philippines and Guatemala vowed on Tuesday for stronger bilateral ties between the two countries in terms of improving the agriculture sector, pursuing climate action, and enhancing its people-to-people relations. During the presentation of credentials of Guatemala non-resident ambassador, His Excellency Manuel Estuardo Roldan Barillas, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said the two countries have distinct similarities that the two governments can work on, especially in terms of looking for solutions to their respective issues on agriculture, climate change, and their people. The President said that the Philippines and Guatemala should not limit their areas of cooperation with agriculture, being the first major area that they could explore along with many other opportunities. In fact, President Marcos also emphasized the Philippines and Guatemala can both learn from their respective efforts in mitigating climate change, which is affecting not only the two countries but also some other parts of the world. The chief executive also highlighted to Barillas the government's efforts to protect the welfare of Filipino workers, as he shared that the Philippines is proud of them as they brought a great deal of benefits to the people, the country, and its economy. For his part, Barilla said he was happy to meet President Marcos and to visit the Philippines for the first time, as he expressed optimism about the strengthened bilateral relationships between the two countries. The Philippines and Guatemala established diplomatic relations on June 21, 1972. According to the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, total trade between the two nations amounted to $5.185 million in 2022, with the Philippines' total exports to Guatemala at $2.059 million.
Dateline Malacañang.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday discussed with the Department of Agriculture, or DA, the possible lifting of the mandatory price ceiling on rice during a sectoral meeting at the State Dining Room in Malacañang Palace. The DA, Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, and the National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA, present various recommendations that can be considered as indicators to remove the price cap as mentioned in the Executive Order, or EO number 39 series of 2023. These include the decrease in rice prices in local markets, the steady and increased supply of rice in the country, decrease in world prices, and secured supply of rice imports. The NEDA supports the proposed lifting of price cap but recommends several interventions to complement the move, including logistics support to rice traders, financial assistance to Filipino farmers, and unconditional rice price subsidies to poor consumers, among others. President Marcos Jr. reaffirms the administration's strong commitment in ensuring the continuous provision of rice and other food commodities, urging the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, to strengthen its programs for food-poor households. In a press briefing after the meeting, DA Bureau of Plant Industry Director General Glenn Panganiban said, from their parameter, they are ready to lift the implementation of the price caps, but of course, it's all up to the President. Panganiban said there were several indicators for the lifting of the price cap, including the decreasing rice prices in local markets and an increased supply for local harvest in the last quarter of 2023. He also noted favorable external factors that have been reported in the export prices of rice in the global market. Under EO 39, which took effect on September 5th, President Marcos ordered the implementation of a price ceiling of 41 pesos per kilogram on regular milled rice and 45 pesos per kilogram on well-milled rice. Panganiban noted that around 80 to 90% of rice retailers have complied with the implementation of the mandated price ceilings. He added that the government is expecting almost 1.9 million metric tons of rice for October, which will last up to 74 days.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday vowed to assist the Filipino fishermen whose fishing boat was rammed by an unidentified commercial vessel transiting the waters of Bajo de Masinloc. This after the Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG, reported that 3 crew members of the Filipino fishing vessel died, including its boat captain. In a statement posted on his official X account, the president said that he is deeply saddened by the deaths of the 3 fishermen, including the captain of the fishing vessel. According to the PCG, the incident occurred at 4:20 Monday morning when an unidentified foreign commercial vessel rammed the Filipino fishing boat identified as FFB Dirian, while it was moored to a payao or anchored fish float 85 nautical miles northwest of the Bajo de Masinloc. 11 crew members survived the incident by using their 8 service boats to leave the vicinity waters and transport the deceased victims to the village of Cato in Infanta, Pangasinan Province. President Marcos said the PCG is currently backtracking and checking all monitored vessels in the area as part of its ongoing investigation. He asked the public to refrain from engaging in speculation in the meantime and let the PCG do its job and investigate. Bajo de Masinloc is an integral part of the Philippines over which it has sovereignty and territorial jurisdiction according to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The Hague-based Permanent Court of Arbitration on July 12, 2016 affirmed Bajo de Masinloc as a traditional fishing ground of Filipino fisherfolk.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday said the double-digit drop in his approval and trust scores no longer came as a surprise considering the plight of Filipinos bearing the brunt of the sudden spike in the prices of rice. In a media interview on the sidelines of the rice distribution in Taguig City, the president said, "The present situation in the country makes it perfectly natural for him to earn lower approval and trust ratings."
It's not surprising. People are having a hard time. Because yung hirap na bigas ito eh. Ibang usapan pag bigas. It's different from anything else any other agricultural product. I completely understand it. And that's why we're working very, very hard to make sure that this comes up again. Not because of the survey. That's not important to me. What's important to me is that we make sure that people have enough to eat and that it is affordable to them. And kaya hindi mo masisi ang tao. Talagang naghihirap sila eh. So that's why we are doing all of these things. That's why we are doing all of the things to try and maintain the prices at a level that is affordable to our people. Yun lang naman talagang kailangan gawin. And I think we are slowly heading there.
Based on a Pulse Asia survey conducted from the 10th to the 15th of September, the president's approval and trust ratings declined by 14 percentage points from 85% to 71% and 15 percentage points from 80% to 65% respectively. Pulse Asia conducted the survey amid the implementation of Executive Order or EO39, which imposes a price ceiling of 41 pesos per kilogram on regular milled rice and 45 pesos per kilogram on well-milled rice to temper the increase in the prices of the staple. President Marcos, during the media interview, announced the lifting of the implementation of EO39 and assured continued assistance to affected individuals, including farmers and the underprivileged sector. The president's announcement came a day after the Department of Agriculture, or DA, and the Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, recommended the lifting of the mandatory rice price ceilings in a sectoral meeting at Malacañang Palace in Manila. Despite the lifting of EO 39, President Marcos said the government still needs to address the issue of the higher price of rice in Metro Manila.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday expressed high hopes that the newly appointed officials and officers of various government offices will continue to demonstrate excellence and integrity while performing their respective duties. In his speech during the mass oath-taking of the new officials in different branches of government in Malacañang Palace, the President underscored as he urged public servants to continuously uphold true excellence and integrity in the performance of their duty for the benefit of the country. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Good afternoon, everyone, once again, and welcome to Malacañang Palace on this auspicious day. We witness the oaths of exemplary and honorable individuals who have been and who will continue to be assets to our country. These individuals are leaders and trailblazers on their own professions, exemplars of patriotism, of excellence, and wholehearted service throughout their careers and endeavors. And that is why I bestow on them the challenging but rewarding responsibility that their respective positions will entail. This is indeed a pivotal moment with you and your loved ones because this is a big break that will change the course of your future. This is also important for the nation and the offices and sectors you represent. For with your term comes the promise of new beginnings, new systems, new practices. You now have more opportunities to create improvements in your respective workplaces. And as appointed leaders, your unwavering commitment and even your mere presence daily are crucial to the sectors that you serve, to the performance of your respective mandates. As such, I trust that you will remain models of excellence and integrity, especially to your staff, stakeholders, and communities. This administration will spare no effort to provide the support necessary to address the pressing concerns that hinder development in the sectors of our communities under your authority. For the families and loved ones who are present here today, I ask that you give our newly appointed officials your wholehearted support as they embark upon this very important path. Public service is no easy task. Leading an office or a group with such a significant and influential role in the nation's affairs will be difficult, both for them and for you. Life in government will always be hard and challenging, but every service delivered brings purpose. It brings fulfillment. Pagtulungan natin maitaguyod ang bagong Pilipinas, kung saan ang mga mamamayan ay namumuhay ng pantay-pantay, ng mapayapa, ligtas, at makabuluhan. Congratulations to our new officers. Mabuhay kayong lahat. Maraming salamat at magandang hapon po sa inyo.
The ceremony gathered appointed officials from the Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG, Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, or BJMP, and National Commission on Indigenous Peoples, or NCIP, as well as officers from the Press Photographers of the Philippines, or PPP, Malacañang Press Corps, or MPC, Malacañang Cameramen Association, or MCA, and the Presidential Photojournalists Association, or PPA.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. tasked the Philippine Coconut Authority, or PCA, to come up with a general plan for the development and rehabilitation of the coconut industry as the agency carries out a massive coconut planting and replanting program. The President met with the PCA officials at the Malacañang Palace to discuss its proposed coconut planting and replanting project aimed at reinvigorating the coconut industry by planting 100 million trees from 2023 to 2028. President Marcos underscored the importance of inputs from coconut industry leaders in coming up with a general plan for the sector and wanted the government to implement such initiative beyond his term as president. For the coconut planting and replanting project to gain traction, the PCA is recommending for the issuance of a Memorandum Circular, or MC, that will direct all concerned national government agencies and instrumentalities and urge local government units, or LGUs, to undertake efforts in support of the project. Under the proposed planting and replanting program, the PCA targets to plant 20 to 25 million trees annually from 2023 to 2028, or 100 million trees. And through the proposed MC, the PCA wants concerned national government agencies to support the coconut planting and replanting program. Under a memorandum of agreement between the PCA and coconut-producing provinces and municipalities, the LGUs will be encouraged to implement coconut planting and replanting, seed farm development, and coconut fertilization, among other activities. The PCA has launched a massive coconut planting program to address the impact of senilities and the typhoon destruction to the sector, noting that the last time the Philippines implemented massive coconut planting program was in the 70s or 80s. Due to budgetary constraints, the agency has only managed to plant or replant about 1 to 3 million coconut trees, which is far from the estimated 34 million trees that it needs to replant. The PCA said in order to plant 100 million trees in the next 5 years, a whole-of-nation approach is needed. The PCA said among the challenges confronting the sector are increasing tree senility, bearing tree losses due to pests and diseases, natural disasters, and climate change impact. Last year, the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PCA, recorded 340.6 million bearing trees, a 6.2 million decline from the 346.8 million bearing trees a year before.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday received the letter of credence from His Excellency Herman Pule Diamonds, non-resident ambassador designate of the Republic of Namibia to the Philippines, in a ceremony in Malacañang Palace. In his brief remarks, the Namibian envoy emphasized that both Namibia and the Philippines share common interests espoused in the United Nations, or UN's Agenda 2030 towards achieving Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. In response, the chief executive reaffirmed the Philippines' commitment to strengthen partnerships that are mutually beneficial to both countries. Diplomatic relations between the Philippines and Namibia were established on May 17, 1996. Since then, Filipino professionals and experts in various fields, particularly in agriculture, education, and health, have contributed to Namibia's socio-economic development after gaining independence from South Africa in 1990. As of 2020, there are 182 Filipinos residing in Namibia. Trade relations between the two countries recorded a total of close to $167,000 US.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. received the letter of credence from His Excellency Kwacha Chisiza, non-resident ambassador designate of the Republic of Malawi to the Philippines, in a ceremony in Malacañang Palace. In his brief message, the Malawian envoy extended his deepest appreciation for the warm welcome, which is typical of the Filipino hospitality bestowed on him since his arrival in the Philippines. He also emphasized the shared moral values of democracy, freedom, and justice, and reaffirms his commitment to deepen and expand the scope of cooperation in advancing the common goals of both countries and their peoples. Furthermore, he invites the Filipino business community to invest in Malawi in various areas of trade, such as mining, agriculture, energy, tourism, health, and education, among others. In response, the President expressed his commitment to foster stronger bilateral ties, giving his assurance that the partnerships would be a continuation of the growing diplomatic relations. He also underscored the importance of alliances despite the distance, adding that Malawi's priority sectors align with the Philippines' priority areas that provide a good direction for future collaborations. Diplomatic relations between the Philippines and the Malawi were established on May 3, 2001. Since then, the two countries have engaged in trade with a total trade volume exceeding $1 million in 2020. This include a total export value of $11,632 to the Philippines. As of 2021, there are 41 Filipinos residing in Malawi.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Friday led the distribution of rice in Rojas City, Capiz Province. In line with the administration's continuing efforts to strengthen food security and address the gaps in the agriculture sector, the President, along with the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, gave out 1,000 sacks of premium rice to beneficiaries of the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, or 4Ps. In his speech, the chief executive said more than 10,000 beneficiaries in the province will receive financial assistance under the Rice Farmers Financial Assistance, or RFFA program. President Marcos added that many more small farmers in the province will receive from the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, or RCEF, machinery, seedlings, trainings and seminars, and financial assistance for their livelihoods. The President ordered the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Finance to fast-track the distribution of these benefits. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Maraming salamat kay Secretary Rex Gatchalian sa iyong pagpakilala. Atin batiin ang ating ama ng probinsya ng Capiz, ang ating matagal ng kaibigan. Ngayon naninibago ako, tawagin kang Governor. Governor Fred Castro, makasama po kami sa Kongreso. Ako pasok labas, sa naman tumagal sa Kongreso. Fred, na-miss ko na yung ganyang klaseng salita. Matagal na ko nang hindi narinig yung mga oratory ng inyong gobernador. Kaya naman sumikat siya sa House at ngayon sumisikat siya dito sa Capiz dahil nakita naman ninyo kung makapagsalita talagang nakaka-inspire. Tayong lahat ay na-inspire sa kanyang talumpati. Ang alkalde ng lungsod ng Rojas, Ronnie Dadivas, maraming salamat sa inyong magandang pagkasalubong. Ang ating matagal na kaibigan, anak ng Capiz, nandito rin po si ang dating senador, and secretary, lahat na yata na hawakan mo, Mar Rojas, nandito po. Baka hindi nyo po alam nyo po, kami ni Mar, matagal na po kaming magkaibigan. At kahit na hindi kami magkapanig kuminsan sa politika, matagal kaming nagsama sa New York. At sana naman habang nandito siya, hindi na niya kinikwento yung mga nangyari sa amin nung nasa New York kami dahil bachelor pa po kami. At marami kaming mga adventure na magkasama. Kaya po nakakatuwa na matagal ko na po siyang hindi nakausap. At mabuti naman nagkaroon ng pagkakataon na nag-uusap kami dito pa sa Capiz. Ang mga benepisyaryo natin, ang pinakamahalaga na grupo na nandito ngayong araw na ito, mga benepisyaryo para ng mga 4Ps na ibibigyan natin at ibibigay natin itong mga ating nakuhang bigas, mga kasama na lingkod bayan, mga minamahal kong kababayan, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Noong nakaraang buwan lang po ay naghatid ng tulong ang DSWD at DTI sa ating mga rice retailer dito sa inyong probinsya upang matulungan sila sa kanilang mga negosyo. Dumayo po ulit kami dito ngayon upang personal na maghatid ng libreng bigas sa mga minamahal nating kapisnon upang makabawas sa inyong alalahanin sa pagkain. Muli na naman po kaming nagsasanib puwersa kasama po ang iba't ibang ahensya ng pamahalaan tulad ng DA, DSWD, DOLE, DOH, TESDA, CHED, Philippine Coconut Authority, Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation, Agricultural Training Institute upang muling ilapit sa inyo ang kanilang mga serbisyo. Naway masulit po ninyo ang pagtitipong ito sapagkat ito po ay para talaga sa inyo. Ngayong 2023, mahigit 10,000 benepisyaryo mula sa inyong lalawigan ang nakatakdang makatanggap ng tulong pinansyal sa ilalim ng Rice Farmers Financial Assistance Program o yung RFFA. Dagdag po rito, marami rin pong mga maliliit na mga magsasaka na matutulungan ng Rice Competitive Enhancement Fund o yung tinatawag na RCEF sa pamamagitan ng mga makinarya, mga punla, mga pagsasanay at seminar at pagpapahiram ng puhunan para sa kanila. Dahil dito, inaatasan ko ang DA at ang Department of Finance na pabilisin ang pagmamahagi ng mga benepisyong ito. Umpisa pa lang po ito sa mga hakbangin ng gobyerno upang mapaunlad ang buhay ng mga Pilipino. Mula sa pagpapalakas ng agrikultura ng bansa at sa pagpapalawig ng mga benepisyong handog ng iba pang mga sektor. Masaya po ako na makitang maraming natutulungan ang ating mga proyekto. Ibig sabihin lamang po nito ay tama ang tinutungo ng ating direksyon para sa pamumuno. Ang hiling ko lamang po ay lalo ninyong pag-ibayuhin ang inyong sipag at tiyaga upang sa gayon ay mapabuti ninyo ang inyong buhay at makatulong sa ibang mga Pilipinong kailangan din na kaagapay. Higit sa lahat, makiluhok sa pagbabantay sa ating lipunan. Marami po rin po tayong malaking nakakapanloloko ng kapwa. Tunay po ang nakakagalit ng mga smuggler at hoarder na yan. Nasisira ang daloy ng merkado, kaya tumataas ang presyo ng mga pangunahing bilihin dahil sa kanilang mga iligal na gawain. Kaya naman, nakikipag-ugnayan din tayo sa Kongreso na maamyendahan ng ilang batas upang tuluyan ng maging krimen ang agricultural economic sabotage at mapabigat ang parusa dito. Mga kababayan, gaano man kalaki ang kanilang sindikato, tulad na natimbog natin sa smuggler sa pier ng Zamboanga noong buwan ng Agosto, wala pong binabatbat yan sa nagkakaisang nating lakas. Kaya kung may nalalaman po kayong sangkot sa mga ganitong transaksyon, huwag po kayong matakot na magsuplong. Tandaan po ninyo, kasabay ng pagsulong ng bagong Pilipinas ay ang pagkakaroon ng panatag, masagana at matatag na buhay. Ang kinin po natin ito. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat at kayo ay maging kasama natin sa pagpapaunlad at pagpapaganda sa buhay ng bawat Pilipino. Ito po ay ang ating ginagawa. Pagpatuloy na makapagbigay ng tulong sa lahat ng ating nalalamang na nangangailangan. Kaya po, wag po kayong nagdadalawang isip na magsabi kung kayo po ay nasa alanganin, kung kayo po ay nangangailangan, at ang pamahalaan ay gagawin ng lahat upang kayo ay bigyan ng tulong. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay ang buong lalawigan ng Capiz. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, we would like to invite everyone to come and visit our Facebook page at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our post as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang in Review. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.